Baby earth is reeling and willing and needs your tender embrace. Mothers of the universe, Mother Nature's eyes, ooh, come save your child. Come save your child. I said come sisters, come and take back your child. This great.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. It's been a long time. We took a long break. We're back this evening. Good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Please share the show. I have actually pinned the link of the show. I don't know why it's not allowing you to share, but I've pinned the link on this show so that you can be able to. Let me make sure the link is pinned, but I've also shared the link in the, it is there, where you can see and share it. Please share the show. Please share it. We're looking forward to talking to a phenomenal Liberian woman this evening. I want you to share the show. It's just me here today. Welcome back, everybody, to GeesBeeCee Women with Words. I want to welcome all of you today to this episode. Liberians are doing wonderful. Liberians are doing great. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. I'm just going to play the intro one more time so that all of you and all of you can have the opportunity to share it. I'm actually going to play the one that has to do with celebrating our married people. It is not only married people that celebrate Valentine's. Today is February 1st. Yes, we're in the love month. All those lovers, this is your month. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, this is your month. So I'm going to play our video that we have. And of course, Facebook, we own no copyrights to the music. We do have rights from our intro song that we usually play. So I'll do this next intro, just a little something for Valentine's month, the month of February, as we start the show. So just watch this. You may recognize some people. Happy February. Did I cut it off? Okay, I guess it's done. So hello, everybody. Welcome to GeesBeeCee Women with Words. My name, of course, is Glendy Jane Juniors, and I'm here as your host, your co-host, your buddy, your everything tonight. It is just me here. Sending a shout out to Agatha, to Eva, who has now returned from eating all her organic foods. And to Michael, wherever he is, I'm here this evening. We want to welcome all of you to our show. Our guest this evening is a phenomenal woman, a phenomenal Liberian woman, Tukus Ama Harris, proprietress of Rosetta Steps Education Center. But before we bring our guests on, a lot of things has happened since we were last on the show. Liberia now has a president, a new president. We want to say congratulations to Honorable Joseph Yuma Boyka. There you see former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and former President George Weah. They're all lifting up. This is something historic for Liberia, where we have 3 presidents, 2 former presidents, and 1 current president still alive, and they can celebrate inauguration together. So we want to say congratulations. We also want to, Liberia is again moving fast, rapidly. We want to congratulate Mrs. Young, Pro Temper, Yombikanga Lawrence of the Senate, and the Speaker of the House, Representative Speaker Fonanti Kofa. These are the things that have happened in Liberia in the past month. And of course, we want to say to all of you there, it is February, it is the Lovers Month. It is the month for roses, the month for candy, the month for perfume, the month for candle, whatever you can get to celebrate that person that you love. It is February is a month to receive love and to give love. And I'm giving you guys some love tonight. So I'm gonna welcome our guest on the podcast. I see her here. Welcome.
Hello, Glennie, and hello, everyone. So nice to see you.
Yes, great to see you. Great for you to take on this opportunity. We usually refer to this podcast as the most important in the whole of the universe. And you are here today, and it's no understatement that you are here, an important person in our country. The things that you do, we've noticed it, and we wanted to see what we could do to be able to help people know about you and the sacrifices and the dedication that you do for our country, Liberia. So this is why we wanted to talk to you. So thank you for taking up the time. We know that we also appreciate your sacrifice to be on, because we recognize the time difference.
Yes, indeed.
It's
It's 12 midnight here.
Yes, it's already after midnight and you're up and doing this. So it says a lot about you. So I'm going to ask you first. Let's start by you introducing yourself, telling us who is Alma Harris.
Well, okay, that's an easy and a difficult one because I'm just so many things. I'm a very busy person. So anyway, Amma Harris is a Liberian. I was born in Liberia to the union of Thomas and Rosetta Harris. We grew up in the era of Caldwell Road, Bushwood Island. I attended the St. Teresa's Convent High School up until
Yeah.
about the 9th grade.
STC.
STC, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, STC. And then because of the war in 1990, every time the war broke out, my family went to Nigeria. So there are breaks in between there where my schooling was done in Lagos, Nigeria. And that's where I eventually completed high school, because when we left in 1996, that we did not return. So I completed high school in Nigeria. And then I then went on to live in the Ivory Coast, where I did my studies in airline ticketing and tourism management.
Oh, wow.
And I worked there for a couple of years. That was between the age in my early 20s. And then when the war broke out in Ivory Coast, we moved over to Ghana, where I worked also in the same field, and finally moved to Liberia, where I've been in June. So that's me. I'm a mother. I work full time. I have a job at Brussels Airlines, where customer service has always been my field in my area. So I worked in several places, but I've been at Brussels Airlines for the past 16 to 17 years, where I now serve as the sales manager and the agency supervisor. So that's Amma Harris. I come from a family. We're 5 siblings. Unfortunately, both our parents are deceased. My mother, Rosetta Harris, she died 1990, not as a result, not as a direct result of the war, but indirectly. And my father, Thomas Harris, he passed later on in life. I have four lovely siblings: John Nat, the oldest, Dwella Harris. Well, she's not the oldest, but she likes to think she is. There's my other sister, Rosetta Harris, who has my mother's name, and Thomas Harris, he's the one before me. So we're five kids in all.
Okay.
Now I have my daughter, please, if I don't mention her, Noah,
No, please.
Noah Dennis, yes, and I have a daughter as well.
Amazing, amazing. Before we move on to talk a little bit about why you're here and ask you some questions about the work you've done, I want to talk about what you're moving back and forth with your family because of the war in Liberia. We ourselves too had the same experience, but we stayed in Liberia. It's like we moved from one era, moved from Peaceville to Bruce Island, back to Peaceville, back to Bruce Island, back and forth. But you going outside of Liberia, I want you to talk a little bit about what impact it had on you. What did you have to do as a young child, and comparing and looking back now, how would you look at that? Whether there are any regrets or there's anything you can applaud for the fact that you had the opportunity to be able to continue your education outside of Liberia.
What I would definitely say is that it wasn't as we did those transitions were not as a result of a pleasant experience, but they definitely broadened my horizon. And I, someone who does not like to focus on the negatives, I mean, it's important. It teaches us lesson. It was due to war. Like a friend of mine once told me, and people observe it. He said, "Ama, every time you talk about your life in Ghana, Nigeria, or somewhere, you do it as if you went on a trip." But it wasn't until I went back to Nigeria about 2 years ago. And what happened was the event that I went for, it was the birthday of the head of UBA. And they happened to have the celebration because I'm a Tony Elumelu fellow. And I was speaking at his birthday celebration, and they happened to have the celebration a few meters away from the ports where we had landed as refugees, in 1990. And when I took the podium to speak, it just hit me that there I was, first time on this soil, a totally unknown 10-year-old Liberian refugee. We didn't know where we were going. We didn't even know if we would have a meal the next day. I remember we're fed by the Red Cross that night. But what keeps me positive is the fact that I've allowed all those experiences to add on to who I am today. So I like to tell people that I think I'm the epitome of a West African. I've taken all of the positive attributes from these different places. In Ivory Coast, I made sure I learned French. I assimilated into the culture. I like to say I'm partly Nigerian, Liberian, Ivorian, and Ghanaian. And it's the fact of life. There is a positive aspect to every culture.
Yes.
And I try to pick on those things, and all those things make me who I am. And I think that has helped me along my journey in living in Liberia. Now, what it does in certain circumstances is it makes you realize that you're not, sometimes you kind of stand out as being different because your views on
Yes.
life are kind of different. And when you come from a country that has over Nigeria, we're talking about millions of people, and you see the struggle that people go to, and you come to another place where we're a much smaller group, everyone kind of knows the other, and we're much more laid back. Sometimes it gets upsetting, but then I'm not someone who's ashamed to own what I've learned from those places. In Nigeria, I was in a boarding school, a government boarding school. I learned discipline. I learned respect for elders, and I've held on to those attributes, and they've helped me become who I am. Would I erase the war? Yes, I would, but I can't. So the most I can do is just hold on to the positives.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like your approach to life and the positivity. I think it does a lot for you, and it shows in what you do. So I want to, when I'm looking at what you've done, you're in airlines. You did airline ticketing and tourism, and then
Mm-hmm.
you go into education and become a proprietress of a school. So I want you to tell us why this shift, why education, why this was something that you had to do.
Well, it's one of several things. Anyone that knew me growing up knew that I loved my mother and I still love, I idolized my mom. And it was for several reasons, the child, my brother who is above me, there's a 10 years gap between us. So I think my mom kind of kept me always close to her. Well, I don't think she did that. So my days, I slept on the same bed with my mother up to her death. And I went to school. After school, my mother was the principal. She was into education. So let me give you a little bit of a background. My mother is Rosetta Harris, so she grew up in Yucatan to an uneducated mother who was a typical market woman. I know that it kind of sounds cliche, but that's what the reality was.
Mhm.
And she was, I would say, an intelligent young child. And her mother invested a lot in her education. She attended Bromley Mission. She got a USAID scholarship, went to Fresno State University in the US, and returned to the MCSS school system. She worked at demonstration school, GW Gibson School, and up until her death in 1990, she was the principal of Tupman High. So I went to convent every day, and after school, I would go to my mother at either GW Gibson. I still remember my days there, or it was lastly Tupman High, and I would be in the space of learning. When she started with me, she's like, go to the history room and learn something from there, or go to the geography room, or call the French teacher and say, okay, she's assigned to you for today. So learning was something I grew up in, that space of learning, and we lived in a household where learning was applauded. You weren't celebrated if you were beautiful, if you could dance. You were celebrated if you were the smartest or if you could learn. And I remember I didn't go, every night I had to watch the news before going to bed. And the next day I would be asked questions about what I had heard on the news. So to get the approval and the love of my mother, you had to be studious. So I grew up learning and being studious. So when she died in 1990, and then I came back to Liberia and started to live here, my grandmother's house was sitting there bare. And we were leasing it out in Yucatan for $100 a year. So that's like $8 or $9 a month. So I went and I looked at this space and I said, look, what can we do in this place that can transform the lives of other young people in the same way that I've seen education transform my mother's life? And the education, the funny thing about both my parents is there are clear examples of the transformative power of education. I tell you this story. So I attended college in Liberia at the Stella Maris University. And every day when I walked in, there was this older man at the gate cleaning up, and he would just keep staring at me. My father came from a very large family, and at a certain point in time, the family had split up. And my grandmother had taken her last set of twins, and my father had decided that look, he was tired moving from one place to another place with his mom because she was a house help. And every time she went to this house, she was very fussy. She made flower here, and he was moving, moving, moving. So the last house she was at, they were living with the father of the current Chief Justice, Honorable Sienna Yo, Omeyo, and she came one day, she made flower with Omeyo. She said she was packing her bags. So my father walked up to her and walked to Omeyo and said, Omeyo, if I decide to stay, will you still send me to school? And he said, yes. And my grandmother left him there and went, and she went with this set of twins. So my father went on to LU, graduated top of his class, became general manager of a mining company, went to Italy for school, became general manager Air Liberia, and my grandmother left with these set of twins. Now it turns out several years later, I'm in college, and the person that is cleaning up this school is my uncle. He was one of the twins that my grandmother had taken away. So there clearly, all my life, I've been able to see the difference that education makes. I didn't need to read a UNICEF statistics to tell me what education does for people. I looked at my mother's life versus her mother. I look at my father's life versus his siblings. And I realized early on I lived in Nigeria that has a higher literacy rate. I live in Ghana that has a higher literacy rate. I live in Liberia that has one of the lowest in the region. And I can clearly see every day I live the fact that education is important. So I said, how can I give back to Liberia? How can I give back to my society? How can I create other Rosettas and Thomases? So we went into Newtown and I just asked friends, look, I'm doing this thing in Newtown. Can you give me $50 or $100 there? We painted up the space and we transformed the space into a reading room. And the idea was to teach the kids to read only on Saturdays. But I'll tell you what, Glennie, when those kids came in, they were so low in terms of their levels of understanding that didn't even know the proper way to even turn the book. Some people had the books upside down. People could not pronounce THE. And I was very frustrated on the first day because I had spent my time training the teachers. I had put them on a payroll. I remember we were paying them $50 a day to come in on Saturdays. And I said to them, but we can't work with these students. And we were told that they were the brightest, some of the brightest in the neighborhood. So the teacher said, okay, what do we do? The space is renovated. You've made all this effort. You pay us every month, so let's transform into a school. And so that's how we started off with 25 students. And today we have metamorphosized into 200 plus students.
Wow.
So when you say why education, it's because one, if anyone knows me, I'm a very patriotic Liberian. I say God first, next Liberia. I know other people who are in my life, maybe they will be jealous about that, but I love my country. I'm very passionate about my country. And I'm very sad also about what I see around here, the state of the schools, the status of education, the importance that is given. I'm ashamed of it. And I feel we need to do more in that sector. That's why education.
Yeah, you said something that took me back to growing up. You talked about growing up as children, and even I'm pretty sure I'm older than you are. One of the things we look at being smart. We look at being the top of the class, and I think that aspect of it has dwindled. But I think there are still some children who ascribe to do greater things, and I hope that our society in Liberia will go back to those ages where children will appreciate the fact that you have to be educated, you have to know how to read and write to be able to carry yourself in a conversation clearly. But I wanna talk about, and you, before we go, and after that we'll show a video about the different things, the building and other stuff. Recently, yesterday, there was this is an apolitical thing, but I want to hear from you. We now have a female minister of education designate. And I want to hear from you, and she could be listening, others could be listening. What would you like to see the educational system look like in Liberia, you being a proprietress of a school?
First of all, I would like for there to be a system. You see, we take that word system for granted. And the reason why the word system was introduced into governance is that if things are just done arbitrarily, there's no way you can see the kind of improvement you need to see. Now, there are prototypes around the world of what different countries did when they were they were facing these same issues. I gave you an example for Nigeria, what they did after their civil war in order to provide education as well as to promote unity amongst Nigerians. They formed what they call the United Schools. So those were public schools that were established in every they have states, we have counties. So every counties, and because it was not just to educate, it was also to promote unity, the intake was based on tribe. So now Liberia, have to sit down and say, what are the issues that are unique to us? And that's why I say you need a system. And I would say the issues that are unique to us is the high level of parental literacy. You have the issue of malnutrition and nutrition, which affects education. You have the issue of lack of transportation, which affects the ability of the child to get to and from school. You have the issue of poverty. You're one of the poorest countries in the world. So I would say you will have to sit and examine these areas and say, what kind of system can we put in place that can be like, that can enable us to deal with all these issues at the same time? And for me, I would, like I always tell people, you need, and you even have the issue of lack of patriotism amongst Liberians. And I would say what would work in this system are boarding schools. Because what the boarding school would do, it would take the kids away from the, sorry to say, illiterate or unlettered parents. It would, you have them in a space, and within that space you can deal with the issues of nutrition, you can deal with the issues of discipline, you can actually deal with the issues. We had a civil war, a tribal war, so you have the ability to handle that within a reserve space. So that's what I would say you need to do on the lower level for kindergarten up to the 12th grade. The other challenge that we face here is the lack of qualified teachers. You cannot argue that. I know when in the past, when they were talking about bringing teachers from Nigeria, there was a lot of murmuring. But you have to realize that every teacher that is a teacher now was educated during the days of the war. Now tell me, which English teacher was really concerned about teaching when the bombs were dropping and marking and giving the correct grades? So you have all those things that happen. So you need qualified teachers in the classrooms, you need the infrastructure, and then I would say build from bottoms up. Because if we had done that immediately after the war, right now we would have had proper 12th graders. You know what I'm saying? We would have had children that are college ready. But we are grasping at too much, too little. And then when it comes to the university level, I've never seen a nation that offers courses in subjects that the labor market is not ready to absorb.
True.
You are a developing country. You've been through war. You're in your reconstruction phase. But instead of putting out masons, plumbers, you're putting out people doing business administration. And I always ask the question, whose business are you going to administer to? When your business sector is mostly in the hand of the Lebanese, and they're not going to turn their businesses over to you. You're producing accountants that have never touched QuickBooks before. And we're in 2023, every business is using automated forms of accounting systems. So I don't like to call them complicated issues, but they're issues that require political will, and that issues that require people that are willing to make the hard steps, the hard decisions. When countries like India decided that they wanted their citizens to be the first in IT, they went into every district and built a college for that. So those are what we call educational systems. Our schools are not even graded. Anyone right now in this living room, I can turn it into a school, and it's a school.
Yeah.
And you say, why you don't shut them down? You say, oh no, because we don't have the capacity to take the students. But what's going to happen is a half-educated man, in my opinion, is worse than someone who hasn't been to school. At least when I don't go to school, I know I didn't go to school. But when you keep me in a classroom for 4 to 5 hours a day, give me a certificate, then you want to convince me later that the thing I have in my hand is not worth it. That's where the problem begins.
Sure.
So I mean, it seems complicated, but it can be done. Yeah. But it needs the support of the populace. It needs the full support of the government. It needs the support of the legislature. And you need to give people the ability and give them the free will to work.
Yes.
And not hinder them with a lot of emotional decisions here and there. Oh no, you can't take the children for in the street because they gotta feed their parents and no. You have to be strong-willed.
Yeah. So before we I want to show the video so people can see some of the things you've done. Before we go to what drives you, I want to ask you, and you talk a little bit about where the school is located.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask you, you could have done everything else. You could have stayed in Nigeria. You could have gone to remain in Ghana. You could have done something else. You could have opened another business. Why Nuku Town? Why Liberia? Why Nuku Town? I know you talk about it, but us people who are just joining, I want them to understand and to hear your passion and to see you, a young woman, Liberian woman, doing this. And this is a huge sacrifice. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I want you to talk a little bit about so that those that are just joining will hear where we started from.
Okay. Why Nuku Town? Why Nuku Town? One, I would say because it's where my mother grew up, and there are quite a lot of intelligent and brilliant people everywhere, you know. And the thing is, with children and with humans, you never know what a person is going to be, especially when you have a democratic process. We don't have a kingdom where is Queen Elizabeth and we know next is Prince Charles. So you can say, okay, these are the people I'm going to educate. You have a democratic process. You're a democratic country. So every child needs to be educated because there are hidden talents everywhere. Now, why Nuku Town is because there are certain things that we've normalized that don't make sense. I watch my mother struggle every day to get 5 children from Caldwell Junction to CWA and Convent simply because those were the better schools were. If you do the calculation and realize the financial burden that we place on parents just because they have this urge to provide their children with better education, it means you're imposing poverty on a person. And another thing we hear around here a lot is that, oh, the people don't, they don't, like, we sometimes blame those who haven't been to school or those who don't know what, if you don't show people what proper education is, how can they measure? So there are several things our presence in low-income community does. The first thing is it saves these parents the extra expense that they will go through on a daily basis, the stress of waking up on the children just to get them to where proper education supposedly is. The second thing it does is that when you're an uneducated parent, you cannot measure what good education is if all the schools around you are bad or of similar standards. Look, we have had cases where people take their children away and we just laugh because they bring those children running back. So what we've done is we've let the gas seller know that your child at 3 years old should be able to write at least some of her letters. Because he goes home and he see Mary child coming from Rosetta steps and she's doing big, big things. So then he's able to go to the school that he has. And even happened with my driver, he went to his children's school last week and blasted because I tutored them for 2 weeks. And he went and he had the opportunity to see the difference in what good education is. So that is why Nuku Town. And another thing is what we don't realize in Liberia, and it's sad, is that we're so focused on infrastructural development because they're tangibles, you can see it, that we're willing to take $100 million from a starving country's budget and put it on a road because we want it to be paved. But if you had gone to the legislature and said, I need to put $100 million into education, you would have gotten a no. Absolutely. But what we don't realize that education is abstract. But if you don't educate the man, it's as much as if you give birth to a child and you take a knife and you cut his limbs.
Okay.
Or you cut his legs and you expect for him to be able to run. There's no way a human can live their life to their fullest potential if you don't give them the tool. And the main tool that you can give a person, I would say the only tool, is education. So that's why we are where we are. And what we do to make it affordable is we don't care. We break our school fees down into as many pieces as possible. And we're in touch with the community. So we always know what's happening in the lives of the kids. So when a parent loses a child, we make sure we find some sort of sponsorship for that child. And like I tell my teachers, you teach these kids as if when they leave here, they're deaf, they're dumb, and they're blind. Meaning you You, the onus to educate them is upon you, because 85% of our parents are not educated.
Wow, that's amazing. So I want to share. Let's folks, if you're just joining us, want to thank you for joining us this evening. We're talking to Alma Harris. She's the proprietress of Rosetta Steps. It's an educational school. It's an educational programming library. It's a school, and it's actually in Newtown. So we're going to show this video. Sit back and watch it. And if you want to make a donation, there's a phone number that you can call. So Rosetta want to be able to support the work that she's doing. You want more information about the school.
Thank you.
The number is 231-88-628-4711. And you can talk to her and get more information. We want to not only talk about what's bad about Liberia, but want to talk about what's good about Liberia and what sacrifices some Liberians are making so that we can be supportive. Okay, let's watch the video.
My name is Josephine Koluva, but everyone calls me Jojo. I'm a TV host. And
sorry, this is not the video. This is this one. I'm sorry. Alrighty. I'm just going to share the second video.
Sound. And then we sing a song. Are we there? Yeah. So I do it first. We do it together and then you are going to do it, right? Yeah. Are you there? Yeah. So listen, all eyes on me. All eyes on you. Great job. Go, have it fun. I do it first. We do it together. Then you're going to do it alone. Are we there? Yeah. So pay attention. Sing to my woman, darling. I'm taking the sound now to blend it to the consonant sound. Ba. Are we there? Yes. Very good. Ba, da, bin, ba, 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 da. Ba, da, bin, ba, 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 da. Ba, da, bin, ba, 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 da. Stick to my woman, darling. We do it together. Are we there? Yeah. Great job. We ready? Yeah.
Beautiful. That is so beautiful. It's so exciting. Skip to Malu. Oh my goodness. I ain't hear that in a long time. I haven't heard that in a long time. But somebody had a question. Is there transportation to get to the school? She said, I would like to sign my girls there.
Okay, I mean, I don't know where the girls live, but with us, we always find creative means. So we had a child, for example, by the time he slept in the school, he didn't sleep there. By the time he stayed there 2 days, I just told one teacher, I said, from now on, your job is to carry this child home. You know, we don't even ask the parents, we kind of tell them what we're doing. So there's some dictatorial traits in me, but it works in Liberia at this point in time because we're working most time with people who sometimes they don't understand the implications of what they do, you know. So if your child needs to come, maybe there's a teacher who lives somewhere nearby. My number is there. You can call me and then we can discuss it. It depends on how close the child is. So Glenda, just to clarify, we started in the Nuku town, but now we're on the Caldwell Road at the Caldwell Junction.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And
So
that's where we are now.
You've grown. Okay. So tell us what has been your proudest moment? I know there was a video with your daughter. I was having trouble to upload that video. I'm sorry.
Okay. That one with her was what kind of made me open the school. When I took her to the States, and after a year, she was able to articulate clearly not only her phonics, but the different skills that she was taught. So that's what made me open the school. Okay. But back to your question, you know, I've had so many proud moments, and I'm a crybaby when it comes to education. But you know, I'm hands-on, and I'm always in the classrooms. And when I'm there, it's to test and assess. So I walk in the classroom this day, and there's this child that is struggling, and everyone is done with their work. And once a child is struggling, the next thing you, the teacher, you're in trouble with me because I don't believe there's any dull child. If there are children that need 30 minutes of attention, the children need 1 hour. That is just as simple as that. So I jump on the teacher. And I'm like, why is this child struggling? And he says, oh, you know, he was here with us, but they took him away for 1 school year and they just brought him back. And I said, okay, there we go again. So it's after school and everybody else is out of the classroom. And I'm with the child, the teacher's with the child. I usually call in a 3rd or 4th teacher. And we're on this child. And the father walks in and he says, this is why I brought my child back. And for me, that's, you know, those were one of the highlights of my moment. Another one, I would say I was somewhere random and someone walked up to me and said, I went to a spelling bee the other day. Your children took 1st, 2nd, and 3rd prize. So I think it's gotten to the point now where I tell the teachers, I say, I don't think you people should register them because they go there and they sweep all of it. Because we have a strong phonics curriculum, a strong reading curriculum as well.
So tell us about how you're able to juggle everything that you're doing. You're working in airline, you're an employer, you're also an educator. How are you able to juggle all these things together and yet still appear so beautiful and flawless?
Hey, so let me tell you an example of my day today. So I woke up today with Brussels Airlines. I'm also part of what we call the Help Alliance, which are Lufthansa employees that we do charity work. So like this morning, my job was to visit a school and do an assessment. So this morning I got up, I had to visit the school. The school was out in ELWA. I had to take the teacher from that school to my school. We did that. We met. I had to go back to work, stay till 5. Lema's boys book lunch was this evening, attended that, and I had to sit here. But I must say, I'm blessed to have real strong work ethics. And the thing is, even if I decide not to do it, I will not sleep. That's the problem. I will lie there. I will feel guilty. There was a youth program on Saturday that I didn't attend until today. I feel so guilty for not being there for those young people. And before, I used to battle with myself, like, why don't I take more joy out of more leisure time? And then I had to have a conversation with myself, and I said, this is me. This is what I was going to do. When I'm in that space, when I'm with young people, young adults, I'm glow at my best, and so I've accepted that, and I dedicate my time to it. I'm also blessed that my boss currently, she's very she's very accommodating. The other day she looked at me, she said, "You don't know I know half the time you have your teachers in front of you and you're pretending like you're working." And I didn't know noticing all this time. She said, "I noticed, but you still do your job. But she's just moved to Liberia and she sees the needs as well. When we stay here sometime, you get so immune,
Yeah.
like you can walk out the door and one child got pain on their head. After a while, it's like we've gotten so immune to these things. That's what we don't act. That's what we're not doing enough to get rid of them. But these are not normal things. These are abnormal. I mean, and it's outrageous that the things we've accepted as normal. Where in the world is it okay? Imagine if you walk in the streets of New York and there was a child passing by, you were playing on their head.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit. Just some of the audience watching want to know what ages for the children, and I don't know if you can share the cost for one child in your school, and then
So like,
also tell us
mm,
if you identify some children that needs, like if you had somebody and I wanted to be able to pay for a child's school fee, is that something that you're into? Is that something that you will welcome?
yes, it's something we do. Just 2 days ago, I was able to get a child sponsorship. A friend of mine had been behind me since December. She needed a girl child. I said, hold on. I just got this call from the neighborhood tailor. Oh, boss, today, I had an operation, can't afford. So it's three. We say we give quality education at less than $1 a day. So every time you spend $1, feel guilty because if you were giving it to us, our child
Yes.
will be in school for that day. So the school fees for the entire year, for new students, it's about 360, but for old students, it's $330. So it comes out to less than $1 a day. And then it's broken up into about a total of 7 to 8 installments just to make it affordable. So that's what we do. So we
Wow.
always have kids that are in need. Like I say, we are in a low income community. I mean, eventually we would like to see every child within our immediate environment come to school. So there are so many kids that are in need. So I will really appeal. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm happy that I'm on this call tonight. There are people abroad who can afford, even if you can afford half a semester or even just $25 towards a child, you cannot imagine the kind of burden it is for these parents. We gave 2 scholarships off like some months ago, and one parent was a gas seller. He sold gas out of his child had been with us for 2 years, and he sells gas out of cans. The other lady, she sells bread. So imagine if you can relieve that kind of person off a 50 or
Yes.
$100 burden. And it
Yes.
gives me great joy because these are the kind of children I like that we work with. So when you can see a child come from that kind of environment and you give them 2 paragraphs at the age of 5 and they can read for you, that's what it should be. We're educating those that need it most, and that's what we do.
Okay, let me just show some pictures because I know it's late, and I don't want to keep you anywhere longer. So just have some pictures. You can talk as I share them.
Okay.
Welcome to school. Go ahead. And then this is another one with the kids. Which grade? Which grade?
Is that okay? I'm not able to see it. I'm not seeing
Oh,
the pictures. Okay.
okay. So this is the one where they're holding some books up in their hand
Okay,
in the
so
class.
that's a donation we received
Okay.
We get all these donations, the Rotary Club. There are so many people I would like to give shout out to. Before we close, everything we've done has been through the help of Liberians. I know people say Liberians do help each other, but I tell them, I say, I don't know the Liberians you know. The Liberians I know, they have us this far. I wouldn't even want to start calling names because there's so many.
You're getting trouble.
I'll get in trouble. Oh. There's
Okay.
so many. Yeah.
And here's another one with them sitting at the table writing. We can see the little kids dressed in their uniforms.
Yes,
Another
another thing
one.
that we do is that we let the students wear. I'm going to go off cam for a bit. We let the students wear white t-shirt and jeans on certain days of the week. This
Okay.
is because we know that uniforms are expensive.
Okay.
So most of our children cannot afford to have 2 or 3 pairs. So if your uniform not okay that day, you wear your white t-shirt, any white t-shirt and jean trousers, and you
Oh,
just come to school. Don't stay home. Come to
that's
school.
beautiful. We have another picture with, I think there is that like in front of, there's a whole, all of the children in front of the building with the Liberian flag. And I think that's you talking to them there. This is
Okay, is
amazing.
that where they have something like blankets in the hand, something blue?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that was a donation. Brussels Airlines recently rebranded. So all of the blankets from the aircraft, it was the rainy season, so it was just in time. So all of the donated to us. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And those are all the pictures we have. This is another picture with you and I think I think it could be 3 of your teachers there. We have this one here. Like a nurse. I think
I think I lost you for a bit.
oh, I said there's one there with a nurse.
Okay, yes. So another thing we do, Glennie, we need to talk. Oh God, we do so many things. So we have other programs that we run. We have what we call our Read to Succeed phonics program.
Okay.
So we go into the neighboring schools and we bring students in after school. We give them a snack and we teach them phonics and reading and basic literacy.
Okay.
The first time I decided to sit on the recruitment process of that program, I couldn't. The first child that I had was a 15-year-old
Wow.
who knew no letter sound
Hmm.
and she could not pronounce any of the 36 words. And these are sight words. So we're talking about THAT, THOSE, because sight words are basic words that you find in any reading material.
Yes.
And I just couldn't make it. I ended up crying because this is Monrovia. So it makes you wonder what is happening in the hinterland, you know? So we were blessed recently also to receive a funding from Lufthansa. And this year we're going to be running that program for 300 students. So we're going to go into the other schools. We always go to the schools and we encourage their teachers to attend when we're training and we do phonics. We run them through phonics, and we build their reading skills. So we do a baseline assessment. We come back 6 weeks later, we assess. We come back another 6 weeks later, do another assessment. Ideally they should stay with us for 6 months, but we don't have the ability to do that. And that's
So
what we do.
how much would that program cost for one child?
That program costs $137 for a child. So with just $137, you're able to raise a child's word per minute. Our best success story was a child who went from 3 to 27. So you can see that was a dynamite just sitting there waiting to explode. I mean, this child had everything he needed to know, but sometimes the instruction, the lack of materials, the delivery is the issue.
Yeah.
And I've seen that over and over. But I mean, we were recruiting recently for our new batch, and I told the teachers, I said, look, you can either go easy or you go hard. And I think my bug has rubbed off on them. They say, but then how we have success story? We need some people who don't know anything. I said, okay, then they could. You are my teachers for true. So we're willing to work with JSAP, and we like to deal with students who need the lessons and the instructions the most. So what you see there, we had written a church group, and they sponsored medical testing for all of our students. And out of the 200 plus students, only 18 were found not to have any bacterial or any infection.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing. So,
For a
folks,
lot of them, they
go
didn't
ahead.
know their blood type. It was their first time. And part of the package was those at a certain age got their vaccinations up to speed. And then we did it in collaboration with Jamale. Thanks to them, they gave us a good rates. And they were able, the doctor came from Jamale because Jamale now has a branch in Yukutown. So the parents were able to take their kids there, but you would not believe it. There were parents who we had to call 3 to 4 times because you see, when a man is poor, he's totally absorbed by necessities, food, water, shelter. And you think sometimes it's negligence. It's just that the parent needs to survive. And everything else seems like a luxury or something that he can postpone. So
Yeah.
with us, we're not only teaching students to read and write, we're also teaching parents how to care for your children. You come to that school for report card in that child pass, you don't hug them, you got problem with me.
Yes.
Because it means you're not there's no positive reinforcement. You need when I call them my children, even though they gave birth to them, when my children do good, you let them know they do good.
Yes.
I tell the teachers too, my child don't answer a question, you tell them good job. What's wrong with you? Yeah, especially the children doing things. I tell them, I always tease them. I say, when you were this age, you could do this thing. You're running from war and all those kind of things.
Yes.
So we have fun in the process. So that picture, and we tested our teachers also, and everyone, and we hope that it's something that we can do on a yearly basis. But the issues we have is lack of clean drinking water. That goes back to water and sewer. You have neighborhoods like those that don't have running water, and these parents are expected to buy water from the sachet, $5 a bag. If you have 5 children, at $25 every time your 5 children want drink.
Yeah.
So you see the situation we're working with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
tough.
we want to thank you, and to everyone who's watching. Amma is on Facebook. If you need to connect with her, you can certainly reach out to me. I've shared her number in this podcast. I want us to be able to see what we can do to help. I am interested in the phonics stuff, so I will make some personal contributions towards
Thank you
that
so much.
program. To be able, because when you say someone can pronounce or they don't even know sight words, that's serious, but you can't do everything, but you can do some of it. So I'll make a personal contribution to be able to help that program continue. And whatever contribution I make initially, I'm going to do that annually to be able to help
Please.
towards that program so that
Thank
it
you.
continues. And we appreciate all that you do, in spite of all of the difficulties and the challenges in Liberia. And what you're doing as a young woman is amazing. The sacrifices is amazing. So as we end the podcast, and folks, if you're watching, please just don't watch this show without giving something or helping or encouraging Amma to continue to do this. And you heard what she said. The school, that the area that the school is in is in an impoverished neighborhood where people can afford it. If you hear somebody selling gas from cans, and their children can go there, even if you can give $100 to support a child, a one-time donation. We didn't want to just do this show without being supportive and lifting our hands up in what she's doing. So we want to encourage you. So as we go off, we'll ask you to make some closing comments. Certainly thank everybody you want to thank so that you don't leave anybody out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me
Let me just say this to you. Once you've come on this platform, if you're working on any initiative, it's become your platform. If you
Okay.
just want to come and say, oh, Glendale, we're having graduation, we want to come talk about it, we will make the time. We'll sit here, we'll talk to you, we'll do the promotion. If you want to, and anything about your school can now be shared on the page free of charge.
Thank you
Whatever you
so
want
much.
to share, you can share it, and we will help to promote it. We want to encourage. We want to be able to see this success. A lot of people have made comments here. They've been to Liberia. They've seen the work that you've done. I am coming home this year. I will see the work that you do.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that we continue to support you. So you can give your closing comments.
So for closing comments, I'd like to say thank you to so many persons. I'd like to say thank you to Mr. DeWitt from Bombos of NASCAR. They donated our first set of chairs way back in 2016, and we're still using those chairs to date. I want to say
Hold on,
thank
Amma,
you.
let me Hawa, we will talk. Hawa is asking, and I'm glad, Hawa, that you actually said, how can we do a fundraising for her to support her effort? We'll talk about it. We'll plan a fundraiser. We'll include you in it, Amma, so we can be able to raise some funding. Because when you're talking to us and you're telling us the basics, that you're doing the basics at your school, we want to be able to promote it. And this is a private entity. This is something what you decided to just do. We don't want you to go without making it being supportive to your efforts. So we'll talk about, we'll do something to support you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. And to Ms. Yvonne Bright Dennis and to Yvonne from Shark, she's one of our major supporters. The Rotary Club of Monrovia, I'm a part of that club as well. They're my champions. My brother Leo Johnson, Mark Stewart, my friends Christine, Lavetta, Marjorie Duncan. I mean, she just hit me up from Facebook, and then my brother Lima DeWalt, who recently made a donation to us also, and Wesley. She sponsored one of our after-school reading program. My colleagues in the office that I harass every day, all day I harass them. They say you're always doing things, and they've always been there for us. My siblings, who have permitted me to use their family house and their yard
Thank
for
you.
school. When people say your brothers and sisters, don't ask you about property. I said, no, me and my brothers and sisters don't have that. They're so very proud of everything I'm doing in Mama's honor and in my father's honor also. And the teachers, every one of them that I've worked with, Logan, if you're listening, Upton, everyone that has allowed me to shout at them, scream at them, call them 7:30, call them 10 o'clock in the night, and we've learned and grow together. Let me go down there. I'm not forgetting some people, but please,
Everybody.
everybody, if you've given me $10, recently one of my Facebook friend, Josie, she just came and said, look, I need to feed some children. She made a donation. I think it was $20, and she's going to feed 4 children for a month. That makes a difference. AKA, they run a feeding program at the school. They just wrote me again, said, oh, we need to get Mary's Meals to bring food. Wasim, who donated internet to us for 1 year last year. We got it again this year, but we'll come back and beg you for some more. And yes, just everyone that has prayed, everyone that has said, Amma, you're doing a good job, and everyone that has supported any educational initiative. You see, me, I'm a proud keeper, keep Brenda Brewer. I don't only support what I do, I support what others do. Because one man can educate all of these people around here. You see, we're in it's just that, with education, it's not like Ebola or COVID where people are falling and dying.
So I'm gonna stop you because I think we're gonna turn this maybe into a fundraiser. Stay with us like 10 more minutes, please. We have someone, Fasia Hilton, has said that she will sponsor a child. So
thank you
after the
so
show,
much.
please make sure I'm gonna put your name there so that you can be able to. I'm gonna reply to her comment, Amma, so that you can see it and be able to connect with her. She's gonna sponsor. Thank you, Fasia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What is your mobile money number? We're not gonna let you go. We gotta raise some money here for you tonight. You're doing great. Please, you will sleep over the weekend. Is this the number we're using for mobile money?
That is it. Yes, it is.
So the mobile number, please, you're not gonna make me. Let me go into Kolo here. Don't make me call it number. Yeah. You go post smart in there.
Oh Lord.
231 This woman is doing great. When you hear about
Okay,
phonetics,
then let me give you another one because that one has a limit on it. Yes,
okay.
I know I should have
So
fixed that. Let
please,
me
if
give.
you're watching, even if it's $10, let's raise something tonight for the next between now and 8:15. Let's raise something for her, for what she's doing for the children. And you hear what she's saying, even to buy water. Imagine to buy water for the children to drink. What's the number?
It's 088-231-886.
231-886. Harriet, please. Let me do the number here. Is hold on. Let me unpin the link here. Hold on, my people. You don't go. That will get some money here tonight. 231
I mean, 886
886
708
708. Here are the red number.
04. That's 042. Yes, I'm checking it.
042. Let me say 231
Mm-hmm.
88670
Mm-hmm.
8042.
No, 708, then 042.
Okay, so the 886 is there first. 886-708. Is that it?
Yes. Yes.
708 and 042.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's two. The number is 231
Mm-hmm.
886
Mm-hmm.
708
Mm-hmm.
042. I've just
Yes.
put the number there. Please, even after the show, if you want to go, and I've just pinned the number. If you want to go and please make a donation tonight, Amma has been here. We've learned a lot. We're going to continue. I don't think we have any school that GBC currently follows or that we currently support or that we want to do. So we want to take up this charge and be a sponsor to this, to Rosetta Steps, and to be able, what name is it registered? They want to know, what is it registered under your name?
No, it's registered on a Siafa Mobile.
Siafa Mulba is what the name. So when you see Siafa, I see Douglas saying yes. I see Harriet saying yes. The number, what's the name associated with the number? Siafa Mulba. That's the name. If you see Siafa there, that's the name. Please make a donation. Let's support this young woman for what she's doing, for all the second.
Thank you.
Douglas, what can I spell it business? You know how to spell Siafa? S-A, what can you spell it?
SIAFA.
SIAFA,
FA.
Siafa. Everybody on here now, I'm going to call all of your names here for watching. We want to thank you, Douglas. We want to thank you, Marjorie. Agatha is watching. Reverend Idatus Ada is watching. I call your names here. I can go put money in it, you. And
Oh,
Siafa, don't be embarrassed. I'm will pay for the
I
small
am.
money. No, I know you're embarrassed. Don't worry about it. Just leave it with me. I mean, they won't say I'm begging. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Please go and make a small donation. This woman is doing phenomenal. I also want to say that when what's his name? Abner Yonle was going to Liberia. Amma and I connected along with Rosetta and her children. She was able to get the kids ready to go to meet Abner.
Oh, yeah.
Subsequently, Abner went to the school, was able
Mm-hmm.
to visit the children and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank a lot of you that are already supporting Fasia. We want to thank you again. There's so many. What we want you to do for us, Amma, is maybe between now and the weekend, if you can give us a list of the programs that you have concerning the school that you're doing, the phonics class, after
Mm-hmm.
school program. If you need water, how much is for a month of water supply for the school? Lunches, how much it costs? Just give us a breakdown of the
Oh,
things you
breakdown of
need,
needs. Okay.
so that when
Okay.
I connect with Hawa, we can be able to do a fundraiser for you, and I'll be talking. Michael Padmose is not working for him. The number is not working. Michael, please don't come to all that kind of thing there. The number is working. Has anyone tried the number? Please let us know if you tried the number. If you've tried the number, oh, he said, oh, it was the name. The name is
Ah,
Siafa Mulba. Please make a donation tonight. Let's help Alma. Let's promote the work that she's doing. Let's support her in all of the endeavors. We'll continue to Siafa is with 2F. Is it 2Fs?
It's one.
She said one. But just look at the number if it match. But if you want, just send the money to me, I will send it to her. But anyway, I want to thank you, Alma. We know it's late, pretty late. We will continue to do this. We want to support you in all that you're doing. We want to thank you. I'm sure there are people on here who do things silently. I can trust Agatha all the time to be supportive, even though she's not here. And also Eva, I'm sure Eva has been helping already.
Yeah,
Because
Eva came along with Marjorie.
yes.
And then I also want to thank you too, Glenda, because I've seen all.
Well, don't worry about it. Thank you about Glenda. Just leave it.
The first time I experienced you were with Samantha, I'm like, who is this woman? Where she takes her energy from?
I know, right?
Yeah, but see, I tell people, all of the developed nations you see today, they were once at this stage. The only reason they've been able to become places that you want to fight to go to or want to live in is because citizens sat and said, look, enough is enough.
Yes.
We're tired.
Yes.
And your government is a reflection of the hopes and the aspirations of the citizens. What do I say so? No government official lives in isolation.
Yes.
So if they're doing things that that's supposed to be done, if the wife is saying, look, honey, this thing not correct. If your mom is saying, sweetheart, I born you there when you're doing not correct, they will do what is right. So the more we get to realize that these are areas we want to change and we're ready to speak the truth to our friends, our loved ones, those in power, the more we'll begin to see the change we crave for in our society. But from my perspective, I've lived in Nigeria and I say the future is hopeful because I tell people I work with young people and every day I see the tremendous work that people are doing. But I just say thank you to everyone who has stayed up to listen to me tonight.
Yeah.
It means you care. Even if you don't have the money to send, you've shown interest. And that's what drives our esteem. When a footballer go play, it depends on how many persons come to the stadium to watch him, you know. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's on here tonight. Thank you to everyone also who will donate. And God bless you, Glennie. And God bless our lovely, beautiful, darling country, Liberia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to your daughter for the sacrifices to share her mom with so many kids.
My dear.
Thank you to your siblings for allowing you to use your property to be able to bless the hearts of children. We wish you all the best. We'll be connecting with you. We'll be
before I go to Glennie, sorry, I can talk plenty to my two bonus mothers, Hannah Okoro and Maud Masekwe, when we were refugees in Nigeria. Those were my two moms. Thank you to them also. At least they say your mom born you well. At least I'm making them proud.
Yes, you're doing good. Thank you, Alma. Thank you so much. Okay, and have a good night. We'll be talking again. Thank you.
Okay, then. Bye.
All right. Amazing show. I am in awe with what she's doing. This is amazing. I followed her work. Even when you see the children dressed up in their uniform, they look so neat and cute. We want to be able to do what we can. I'm appealing to you all to make a donation. If you're having trouble with her number in sending the money, you can send the money to me, 703-986-4189. You can Zelle it. I don't have Cash App. You Zelle the money. I'll make sure that she gets it. Or we'll make sure that she checks and see that she gets the money again. Let me just say what the number is. I have to go back to the thing. The number to make the donations is 231-886-708-042. We're going to continue to follow Alma and the work that she's doing. And we're going to... So Douglas, thank you, Douglas. Douglas is saying that the Siafa with one F, SIAFA, Siafa Molba is the one that worked. So thank you so much, Douglas, for making your donation, Michael Patmo. So I hope because Michael is saying 2F and Douglas is saying 1F. But anyway, I'm sure she's going to get the donation. Folks, we want to thank you. There's something I want to talk about before I hang up. Here, don't go. It's something we want to share. About a young hold on one second. Yeah, don't go. We can come here for a long time and I'll be rushing to go and be acting like you ain't miss us. I know you miss us. What the number said, what the person information here said they not sent to me. Hold on one second. You got any question for me? I'm going to small colloquial language. But I can't find the other announcement. Oh, okay. So hold on. It's not even it. All right, hold on. So there is a young woman, I believe, who is, I think I'll share on my page because I can't find where the link is. I think she's in some makeup class or something. I'm looking for the, well, it was something that I wanted to share so that we can be able to promote. But I'll share on my page after that since I cannot find it. But folks, I want to thank you all for watching this evening. Periodically, every now and then we will come, we'll take a few days off. This is a very busy year and we have a lot, everyone is doing a lot, but the show will continue whenever we have the time to come on, we will come on. Even if we're not here, we still have our GeesBeeCee will continue through the ages, through thy kingdom come, but the show Women with Words, there will be times where we have some challenges in schedule. And we won't air, but we will still be on the page interacting. I want to thank all of you for watching us this evening. Thank you so ever so much. And I think Douglas said thank you, bedside nurses, are contributing. Folks, we want to thank you for watching. Please, let's promote whatever is good about Liberia. Let's be critical in a very positive way about the bad things. I think Liberia has a new trajectory they're on, and so we want to be able to help our country. When you go home, go visit Rosetta Steps. This is your school now. This is your school that me, GeesBeeCee, is personally taking on as a sponsor. I want you to join me and let's make donations. Let's help the school. Whenever I go home, I am coming home this year. When you see me, you see me. So when you see me, but we want to continue to help. Thank you, everybody. Hello, Quita. Thank you, Marcus, for watching. Harriet, thank you. Michael, come on, thank you. Everybody, this is the love month. If there's a couple out there, husband and wife, and you want to come on and talk to us, tell us about love in the month of February, reach out to me. This is the love month. We want to be able to talk about love. For those of you in love, everybody's got to be in love. Even if you don't have a lover, you're in love, okay? Until next time when we see you, we'll see you when we see you. Thank you for watching. And I say good night.